Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 8 History Part 1 Education under the British Rule. In this video, we are going to discuss the two schools of thoughts, Orientalist and Anglicist. So we will come to know the difference about the Orientalist and the Anglicist. Also, we will read about the Macaulay Minute of 2nd February 1835 and Charles Wood's Dispatch of 1854, which is very important topic. Also, we will discuss the recommendations of Wood's Dispatch and the practical benefits of the dispatch. So, these are some of the important topics which we are going to discuss in this video. So here we will start the topic, the two schools of thoughts, Orientalists and Anglicists. So first we will discuss about the Orientalist. So actually this Orientalist were the people who had good knowledge of the language and culture of Asia. So they were the people who were having the good knowledge of language and culture of Asia. Now they developed, they actually favored the development of Sanskrit and Persian languages. And they wanted that these languages should be the medium of instruction. Also, they wanted to set up the educational institutes which encourage the study of ancient Indian text, because they had respect for the ancient culture of India and they wanted to revive the ancient culture of India. So actually they were in the favor of developing the ancient languages, the Indian languages and the ancient culture of India. Now there was also a political motive behind this. Actually, the company officials, they wanted people who could communicate into these languages, these Sanskrit and Persian languages. Why? Because most of the ancient Indian text which was there on the administration, law, rule of revenue, all were either in Sanskrit or in Persian. So they need to understand the administration or the system which was there, the law which was there in the India, right? So to understand that law, that administration system, they need the person who can read, who can understand the Sanskrit and Persian. So like this, they wanted the people who could communicate in Sanskrit or Persian. Okay. We have William Jones, who was an Orientalist, and he was well versed in Greek, Latin, French, English, Arabic and Persian. So he came in India in 1783 and he joined the company of Hindu Pandits. Okay, and there he learned Sanskrit language, grammar and poetry. So he was actually knowing many of the languages. And later he was joined by Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nathaniel Halhed. and they were also interested in Indian text. So they together translated many of the Sanskrit and Persian texts into English. They also set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal, and they started general Asiatic researches. Okay. So like this was the journey of Orientalists, okay, who actually wanted to revive the ancient Indian culture. Now comes Anglicists, and they actually opposed the Orientalist. Okay, the Anglicist, they opposed the Orientalist in 19th century, and they emphasized on English language. Okay, if you understand the difference, Orientalist emphasized on Sanskrit and Persian language, which was the ancient language of India. They wanted to revive the Indian ancient culture, but Anglicist, they emphasized on English language, and they wanted English language to be the medium of instruction in the educational institutions. Okay, so this was the difference in both. So what they told, according to them, according to Anglicist, the education of East was unscientific and the literature of East was light-hearted. Now we have James Mill and Thomas Babington Macaulay. They were the main supporters of Anglicist. They were the Anglicist and they were main supporters of English and the scientific knowledge. So they wanted to develop India with the advancement of science and technology, which is there in the West. Okay. Now Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he also advocated the imparting of Western education through English medium. Now we have the topic Macaulay Minute of 2nd February 1835. So Macaulay was appointed the chairman of Committee of Public Instruction. Okay. And he emphasized upon the English medium. Okay. He laid stress on Western literature and science to be important subject of study for Indians. So he wanted that Western literature and science to be added as important subjects for study for Indians. Now in Macaulay Minute, which was of 2nd February 1835, it was mentioned that the sole aim of British would be the promotion of Western literature and sciences among the Indians. Henceforth, all educational funds were to be spent on English education. Efforts were also made to stop the promotion of Calcutta, Madras and Banaras Sanskrit College, which favored Oriental language. So till now you would have understood the two thoughts of education, the Orientalist and the Anglicist. Now we have Charles Wood's Dispatch, which came in 1854. He was was the president of Board of Control, and he formulated a scheme for future education in India. And according to that, they need to provide a coordinated system of education on an all India basis, and this was known as Wood's Dispatch. And this is very important. Macaulay's Minute and Wood's Dispatch is very important to remember. Now, what was the main recommendations which was there in the Wood's Dispatch? So, teaching of Western education was the main aim of the government. Medium of instruction should be English language in the higher classes. Also, the provisions were there for the local languages in primary schools in villages, Anglo vernacular high schools and affiliated colleges as district level. Also, grants in aid were added, were to be provided to encourage the education. Also, a department was set up so that they can review the progress of education. So that was a department of public instruction. A department of public instruction was set up to review the progress of education. Now, also the provisions were made to set up the universities at Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Now the stress was laid on the establishment of vocational and technical schools and colleges. Also recommended establishment of teachers training institution, supported the cause of educating women. So these were the recommendations of Wood's Dispatch, and it is very important to remember. Now, if you go through this recommendation, you will find they have emphasized on every field of education. Like in village, they have made the provisions of local languages, right? For higher languages, they have made the provisions of English languages. Like this, they are promoting English also, right? Also, they are supporting the cause of educating women. Okay. Teacher training is also done. Universities are set up. Also, to review all this, they have set up a department also, the Department of Public Instruction. So, if you will find that this Wood's Dispatch has emphasized on every field of education. And because of this, it came to be known as Magna Carta of English education in India. Now as per these recommendations, the Department of Public Instruction was set up, and that was in 1855. Also, the universities were set up in Madras, Bombay and Calcutta in 1857. Now, some schools were set up for girls, and they were given grants in aid to foster modern education. So, whatever was there in Wood's Dispatch, that was actually followed. Now, practical benefits of the dispatch. Now, with this provision of education in India, the Wood's Dispatch served the purpose of companies official also. How? Economic benefit. Now in this, what happened? When Indians were learning the European culture, they realized the importance of trade and commerce, right? When they will read as per the European culture, they will understand about the trade and commerce, and that will help in the development of countries' resources. Now, if Indians will adopt the European ways of living, the desires of the Indians would gradually change when they are learning the European culture in the schools, in the universities. They will obviously change, right? Now, what will happen? They will demand the European clothes, they will demand the luxury items. When they will read about them, they will know about that, they will demand for that. So like like this, what happened, Europeans actually set up the market, right? Their market where their goods can be sold. Understood? They first educated the Indians, and they have given education, they also educated them for the European culture. Now the people of India came to know about the European culture, and when they will know about them, that they will demand for that, right? When they will demand for that, the market will be there, right, where the European goods can be sold. So like this, you can see there is economic benefit for the company's officials. Also, it was said that when there will be European way of learning, it will actually make the Indian people honest and truthful. Okay, and if they will be honest and truthful, the political benefit of the company will be solved, right? It will be served, the political benefit will be served. How? If the Indians will be honest and truthful, the company could trust and rely on them, they can use them, and as they are honest, they can rely on them. So economic benefit is there, political benefit is also there. Okay, now European learning would instill in people a sense of desire and commitment towards their duties, and like this, the company would get officers who were Indian by origin but European in their thought and working method and skills. Okay, so like this, they could fulfill their needs. We have a question to check your progress. How far do you think Charles Wood was correct in assessing the benefits of Wood's dispatch? What was his contribution to the development of skill among Indians? So this is the question which you need to do. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.